Hi, this is Wolfgang here. In this short video, I will demonstrate how to use the ROOTT implant drill guide system. I'll first start by importing a tapered implant into the scene, and I'll just set that aside, maybe rotate it slightly. Now going into the component module, you'll find the ROOTT guide sleeves, and there are 4. Starting with S0, this is designed for the pilot drill. Then S1, S2, S3, these differ in the internal diameters. The way the system works is that there are drill stoppers which are attached to the drills as such, and these stoppers are designed to pass through the metal guide sleeve, and they have their stopping point on the very bottom of the metal guide sleeve. This differs somewhat from other systems where the drill stopping point is on top of the metal guide sleeve. So we have to factor into our offset equation the length of this metal part. Now I'm going to import the S1 into the scene, and together with that we have a cutting tool for the S1, and I'll just import this one as well. For now, I'm just going to hide the cutting tool and let us view the situation from the front. Now, I want to draw your attention firstly to the length. Like I've said, this is important, and the length of this part is 7.5. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is that when we design the guide sleeve, we want to make sure that the yellow sleeve, which joins then onto the implant guide, is long enough to support the entire length of this metal part. So likewise, if we view the situation from the top and we measure across here, we'll get to a measurement of 6 millimeters. This means that when we're designing the diameter of the yellow guide sleeve, we need a wall thickness which is sufficiently thick enough. So let us think about a wall thickness of at least 1 millimeter or slightly more than that. I'm going to just unhide that, bring back the cutting tool here. Now I'm going to work through the general process of this module. The first thing we do, usually we set an implant length, which in this case I'm going to use a 12 millimeter long implant, and we can just leave it 4 millimeters for now, the diameter for this demonstration. Now, keeping that in mind, our deepest depth is 16 mils. We've already taken up 12 mils, so we've got 4 mils for the transmucosal extension. So you'll refer back to this chart when you do your own calculations. Now the next step involves deleting the safety zone, and we usually select the drill here and we set a diameter for the actual drill. I'm going to just plug in 3 millimeters there, and by pushing this button we're sure to know that the yellow sleeve is on the top. It merges with the top of the implant. Where we normally set the offset from here, either incrementally by using the arrows, or we can just plug in a value, and often it could be, say, 9 millimeters like that. Now one can imagine if we plug in a value of 7.5, this will factor in the metal guide sleeve, and if I were to unhide the metal guide sleeve and then insert it into the yellow sleeve, we'd be sure that the bottom of the guide sleeve would be touching the very top of the implant. Okay, so the next step involves adjusting our offset. So for our example, we want to use this part here, the 16 drill stopper. So we want an overall drill depth of 16 millimeters, which means I've got to plug in an extra bit here to get it to add the 4 on top of the 7.5 there. Next, I'm going to set the yellow sleeve. So by using the S key, I can scale it outwards. I'm going to cast my eye onto this slider bar here, S, and like I said, we've got a diameter of 6 millimeters. So if I set this to say nearly 8, we're sure that we've got a sufficient wall thickness. Now for the length, we use S and Z. And again, I'm just pulling my mouse and I'm going to set this to just over 7.5. That's good enough. So it's going to cover the entire length of the metal guide sleeve. Next, I'm going to auto finish the sleeve. And in the guide, I'm going to go down to the metal insert bit, and we're going to select this as a destination, and that's going to match the destination. Now make sure you select the cutting tool. By using R and Z, we can turn the cutting tool like that. So I'm going to pay a particular attention to getting this lined up, R and Z. So we want to be able to cut the notch away like that. Okay. From here, insert your clearance, set your clearance, and then make the hole. Excellent. I'm going to hide the cutting tool here, and I'm going to just unhide the metal insert, and this is just for aesthetic purposes, I suppose. We can go back here and we'll repeat the same thing. We're going to select that as the destination, and we're going to match that. It's just changed color. It's taken on the color of the cutting tool, so I'm going to select that and delete the color for now. We could actually just give it a color. Okay, so with it being selected, I'm going to use R and Z, and I'm going to reorientate this. In actual fact, I could have checked the items. In the items, we'd be able to see the rotations, and I could have matched that to the original cutting tool. But because this is really only for aesthetic purposes, I'm just going to line it up, something like this. Next, we're going to import the drill stopper that we use, the 16. So looking for it, the S116 is here. Import that into the scene. I'm going to select the part, which is going to be the destination. In the components module, we've got this one here, which you can use. So just push this one and match that, and here we go. Now if we take a measure, I'm just going to hide this one here. If we were to take a measure of the very bottom of the drill stop, to the bottom of the implant, we'll get to 16, as you can see. Yep. So please remember to factor into the equation the measurement of the actual metal drill guide, and keep in mind that the stopping point is on the bottom of this component and not on top as it is with other components. Now before I draw this tutorial to a conclusion, I just need to still mention that while the drill stop for the S1, S2, S3 is all the way on the bottom, the Pilot S0 has its stopping point 2 millimeters higher, and you can see this by the internal ledge over here, which means that the pilot drill will stop 2 millimeters higher than the general end point, which is on the bottom of the guide sleeve. Excellent. Thanks for watching the video. If you've got any questions, please contact me. Thank you. Bye.